Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea podcast. Today, we are covering the original Evil Dead movie. I believe it came out in 1981.
Yes.
So, but I love your coffee mug, by the way.
My teacup?
Yes, your mug. What tea are you drinking? Is it the Dragon Force?
Yes, I am drinking Brutality's Dragon Fruit Force tea.
Oh, I've got to try that
dragon
one.
fruit, passion fruit, yeah. It's got a whole bunch of good stuff in it.
I'm drinking the Tazo Passion tea. It's a herbal tea. I forgot what's all in it. It's just a bunch of
It's got
fruit.
Rose hips and hibiscus, right?
Yeah. Like, it smells very soothing, but without it being lavendery and sleepy time, you know?
Yeah.
I like it. So, Evil Dead. You know, it's terrible how much we didn't remember the remake as we were watching this.
We've slept since then, and we've watched a lot of movies in between then and now. So, also, it's the middle of the week when we're recording this, guys. We're tired.
Yeah, Sundays, we are freshly slept, and
we've had sleep, we've had breakfast. This is fine. It's first thing in the morning. Today, it's after work.
We're just dead inside.
We've had to adult. Then we watch the movie, try not to fall asleep from our exhaustion.
Yeah. I was right there with you. But anyways, Evil Dead. So,
that caffeine.
The original... So the remake definitely I think we mentioned this too whenever we did that episode. The remake definitely is different than the original. Oh, yeah. So with the original, instead of being a drug intervention, it's just these college kids going on vacation. And they found they even comment in the beginning of the movie that they found a super cheap cabin. Because poor college kids, even before you see the actual characters, they make it extremely obvious that area is evil.
It's not so much evil, just
ominous,
out of the way. It's the middle of nowhere.
Well, I meant more like the camera angles following, and then you hear this background oh, they're trying to be creepy about it. Or whenever they get there, the cabin ends up being extremely dilapidated. But it was either Linda, I think no, it was Cheryl, the sister, that was drawing. And then that's when she was forced to draw what appears to be the Book of the Dead.
The Necronomicon.
Yeah, essentially. So they end up discovering this book that's covered in flesh, and it has a face on it. And they're playing these tapes, and I guess it was an archaeologist? But...
I don't remember, some kind of professor.
Yeah, but anyways, they were... the guy was talking on the tapes, and this time, instead of the book being read by them, it's just read through the tape. So it's very they're almost listening to it to be entertained, or they're being curious, and then all of a sudden he starts reading the chant, and then they start getting possessed. Yeah, so that's pretty much all you need to know. I mean, everyone, even if you haven't seen the original Evil Dead, you know that Ash lives at the end and is the only one that lives at the end because they have all of these sequels.
Spin-offs!
Yeah, and spin-offs and series. But anyways, I guess we'll jump into entertainment. Did you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I feel like you'll probably have more to say about this one than I will, so I'll go first.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed this one a bit more than the other. Personally, you can tell it's low budget, and it's the 80s. But it was a good movie, for sure. They had some mess ups here and there. Which we'll get to later. But on the whole, it's entertaining, and there wasn't as much gore for the sake of gore. Not quite as much. It made more sense for the most part.
Yeah.
Until the very end. But that was stop motion animation. That doesn't count. So.
Oh, I was thinking of the pipe that like put out buckets of blood onto him, and he's just like, oh.
I don't consider that gore. Blood is different. It's not the,
if it's not gore, then what is it?
Sinews and it's different.
Nasty.
It's different. It's a bodily fluid, which is still gross, but it's different. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Gore is like you can see the tissues and the ligaments and everything popping out and bone and
I get the picture. Thank you.
Gotcha. So it's different. But I give it probably about a 6, maybe hesitant 6.5. It's good. I enjoyed it more than the other one, but it's not my favorite original scary movie. So
yeah.
I'd give it another watch for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people. It's a cult classic.
Yeah.
And
I can easily see why.
Yeah, like at least in my opinion, it's not the best of movies, but it just has so much personality to it.
Yeah.
It's like even the movies back in those days, it wasn't your commonplace type of movie. And actually, whenever we're reading the background behind it, and whenever it initially came out, it was supposed to get like an X rating. Because they thought that with all of the gore, that was just like way too graphic. Which nowadays, there's so many things that top it now.
Nothing.
Yeah, but I would actually give it a 7, just because it does have a lot of personality, and it's a movie that isn't easy to forget. Like it's not. The movie just. Putting aside how much it has affected our culture, just the movie itself, it's kind of campy. It's got some hilarious parts with some of the bad movie effects, but it's like it knows what it is and it just goes with it. Owns it. Yeah, it's not embarrassed. It's just like, here I am. Well,
they did the best they could with what they had, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, like for those who don't know, this movie was on an extremely low budget. It's a couple of guys that just loved making their own films, and this was their first like full feature film, and they had to really fight to get enough donations to even make it feasible to make a film.
They did originally have it. The director made a short film, and it finally got enough momentum to get the funding they needed to turn it into an actual feature-length film. But it was still a low budget for the funding, and his friend who. Was actually Bruce Campbell. He starred as the main character Ash, and they were friends. Him and the director were friends, and he actually ended up being listed as an executive producer, because he put part of their property on as collateral to complete the movie and get the funding that they needed to push it where it needed to go. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
It needed a little extra help.
Yeah. And honestly, I have to really respect artists that have, not even just artists, like businessmen or whoever that sacrifice everything to accomplish what they want. And they totally accomplished it. I'm sure that they probably had more success than they ever dreamed. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
from my understanding, initially they didn't really get that success, but later it came. But I mean, very rarely do you ever hear about overnight successes.
Yeah.
But it's just so cool to, now be in the future so long from when that movie came out and see how influential it's been. I'm sure that's gotta, I don't know, I'm just putting myself in their shoes and I can just imagine how freaking amazing that would feel. But anyways, I'm very fond of this movie. It's like the movie itself, I don't necessarily enjoy, but I do like that the majority of the gore isn't just for gore itself. It has a purpose, though, as you said, towards the end, it does start to creep to that's the extremely
Really
unnecessary.
ridiculous.
Yeah. But talking about, like, having a personality, like, this movie is very, like, we're doing our own thing, but with the remake, it follows much more, it feels a lot more mainstream than this movie did.
It definitely was more mainstream, the remake. They flipped the script around. They had different people die in different order of dying.
Which I think was good.
It was different. It was definitely different than what people had expected.
Yeah, as they don't make it literally the same movie, because then what's the point?
Yeah, and I get that, but there were certain things that I really enjoyed about the first one that I wish they had done better in the remake.
Yeah.
For example, when they actually get to the cabin, I know you were kind of freaked out by it, but it doesn't look like that bad. It's low rent, for sure, but it's not that bad.
I don't know.
Like, everything looked fairly intact. And when they opened up the doors, everything looked fairly nice, if a bit dusty. A bit dirty.
Very dusty.
And that wasn't that big a deal. I mean, it's in the middle of the woods, and we don't know how long it's been since someone has used it. So that kind of made sense, and that wasn't a big deal. But in the remake, they had, like, bloodstain kind of things on the floor heading towards the trap door to the cellar and all. And in this one, I mean, they did have the chains there, and that's kind of weird.
But it was clean.
But it's not, it was all clean and it was fine.
Yeah.
They looked in the shed, and there were some, like, parts hanging and all from, like, deer and different bones and horns and things, but that's not too unusual. It's a little weird. Just the placement and everything. It was a little odd. But it wasn't, like, that out there or that creepy.
Like with the remake, they had, like, the dead cats hanging everywhere. Like,
everywhere. And it was nasty. It was clear that it was used for something else before.
Yeah, like in the remake, they made it very much like a ritual place. But I got the impression from the original that's like this guy that was just trying to figure stuff out, and he accidentally got too deep type of thing. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everything looked fine there. It wasn't that big a deal. I did think that it started very, very suddenly. With, like, the sister just suddenly drawing the Necronomicon in her sketchbook very violently.
Yeah, like, the pacing isn't great.
Like, what happened there? But it wasn't quite as bad as, there are blood stains everywhere. Oh, the door's been, forced open.
Like,
this is fine.
Yeah.
This is whatever.
They weren't completely ignorant. Yeah.
Look, there was a fire in our cellar. This is fine.
Yeah, they weren't, like, super stupid about it. Like, the guy actually reading the book versus just overhearing it. It's like, you have no idea what the guy's gonna say, so it's perfectly plausible for him to, like, say some sort of ritual thing. And it just
was much better. And a lot of that stuff, it seems like kind of a scary story or ghost story that you'd talk about around the fire. So they weren't really thinking anything of it. Yeah, one girl got freaked out, but it wasn't, a huge deal or anything. So they didn't really read that much into it. But in the remake, They had all the warning signs all over the book. All the ritual crap going on, the bloodstains everywhere.
Yeah.
Door forced open. And in the book itself, it says, do not read. Do not speak it out loud. And what does he do? He does the thing.
Yeah, like, honestly, I know that the remake was a listener request, but I almost wish we had watched the original first. Because if I had watched the original first, but it had been years and years and years, so I didn't remember it. But it's like, if I had watched the original and then the remake, I would have given the remake a lot lower of a rating. But I do try and rate a movie based off of it as a movie itself. Yeah. But trying to compare the two, I would definitely be super upset if I was a huge Evil Dead fan and then I saw the remake. I would just be furious, probably.
Well, that's why I'm kind of glad that we actually saw that one first. Because we went into it without all of the bias. We saw it more objectively.
Yeah.
Which is good. And that's how we really should be watching the movie. I know with some of them, it's really hard to do if we've already seen it fairly recently and we hated it, or if we've seen it and loved it and it's one of our favorites, just to have those, the goggles on. But
yeah.
Or the nostalgia glasses on. But this one, it has been a long while since either of us have seen it. And to watch the remake first, I think that was actually a good idea.
Yeah.
So that it didn't color our view of it too much before we saw this. It actually made me enjoy it that much more to see the original. Personally.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. But the one thing that I will never freaking understand, and if someone out there knows exactly... Huh?
The one thing?
Well, okay. Yes. Oh, no, you will... No, the one thing... Okay, out of all of the things that were kind of like...
playing with you.
That were like, what? This one... Okay, the freaking branch tentacle scene... In both movies, I don't understand. And I was even more uncomfortable in the original. It like ripped off her robe and like it was so uncomfortable. It's like, why? Like, it really wasn't
just like a javelin.
It wasn't that sexual of a movie, so that scene just seems so out of place and so shocking. I mean, maybe that was probably the point of it.
That was probably the reason. Yeah.
But it didn't really add to the film at all for me, because it's like no one else had to go through that to get possessed.
No, but it had to start somewhere. And she seemed, just objectively, she seemed the most quote-unquote pure out of the group. So it probably targeted her for that reason. Yeah.
But yeah, that scene, both movies, extremely uncomfortable and extra uncomfortable in this movie. So
that was a very thick branch, like a javelin. That was That was messed up.
Yep.
That's messed up.
But anyways, I don't really have much else to add on the entertainment scale.
I will say one of the reasons why I took off a couple of points was because there didn't seem to be a set criteria for possession.
Yeah.
Like, at first, the girl gets unhappy, non-fun times in the woods. And then she's possessed. And if she wasn't, she'd have severe trauma. But she gets possessed, and then she injures another one of their friends, and she was unconscious, which they also didn't really treat the wound, but we'll leave that for later. And then she and the other one attack, or the girlfriend gets whisked away.
Yeah.
His buddy's girlfriend gets whisked away.
Yeah.
And then she attacks her boyfriend, the best friend guy,
and he gets severely injured. And they're mostly just, like, getting injured and then possessed, but Ash gets injured by several of them and is perfectly fine.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of attribute that to them being beginner filmmakers and it being on a low budget. But yeah,
it's just a plot hole.
Yeah, there's basically a lot of inconsistencies with the plot, and then also there's a lot of filming inconsistencies. Yes. Like, Ash will be covered in blood one scene, and then there's one scene he's completely clean. Yes. Completely clean.
I was joking with Alyssa while we were watching it. The reason he doesn't get possessed is because his amazing cleaning powers. He's just magically clean. There's magically less blood or gore or wounds when there were some before. This is fine.
But yeah. So, anything you want to add for entertainment?
No, I think we pretty much covered it there.
Okie doke. So, I'm sure in this category you will have way more to say than I will, because I don't know. I just can't think of a lot. But I am probably... I mean, this movie is just so over the top. I think I'm gonna rate it like a 3.
That's fair. Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I mean, I can understand them staying initially because they spent the money to go out there. They want to have a weekend with friends and just hang out.
And there's nothing overtly like, this is evil.
No, they don't really see anything right off the bat that would give them pause. Mm-hmm. Not really. It's a cabin in the woods. Like, it's not that big a deal. But after going down into the cellar, I would, if I was the one to go into the cellar and saw the things, one, his friend had no gun safety whatsoever. Yeah. Two, you don't point the gun at your friends, guys. Loaded or not. Not unless you're actually going to shoot them, which don't do. And if you find a book covered in human skin with a face, maybe leave it there. Maybe don't touch it. Maybe call someone. Like, please, let them know. Hey, heads up, we're renting this place. They got some weird stuff here. Gun that's not locked up. Ammo right next to it. There's all this weird stuff in the cellar. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Don't know if you need to come get some of this. Also, your bridge is crap. Coming out here. Thought you ought to know. But don't touch it. Leave it down there. And probably don't necessarily tell the others that you're with right off the bat. Not freak them out. Just close the thing. Lock it. And ignore its existence unless crap starts happening. And then leave. Of course, it wouldn't let them leave. That was the big issue there.
Yeah.
I would hole up in the place as best I can. There were a lot of windows. It's kind of hard to do. And ride it out till morning, and then walk if I had to. But I'm leaving. Not in the nighttime, because you can't... It was an unfamiliar area. Mm-hmm. It's hard to navigate the woods at the best of circumstances.
Yeah.
You're not going to navigate them in the dark. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If there's chanting on a tape. Nope. If a porch swing is swinging with good momentum and everything, and then as soon as you touch the door, it stops. No. These are signs of nope happening. But those are the main things that I noticed for realism. That were bad. There were, again, the film inconsistencies with gore everywhere. Next scene, hardly any gore. Hardly any blood. Very clean.
Some of the things that they had the corpses spew out was
It's like milk.
yeah, and then the oatmeal looking things is like, is that supposed to be melted fat? Like, what is that? I don't know.
Grossness.
It wasn't clear. So that was extremely
cottage cheese or like oatmeal or what, but it was nasty.
Yeah, but it's like, I know fat cells, like, they're yellow and they kind of like stick together. So I wonder if it was supposed to be like fat. I don't know.
Maybe, but it all came out the arm.
And then it doesn't explain like the milk. Like, the milk was coming out the arms, it's coming out the mouth. What's with the milk?
Yeah. We had questions.
Yeah.
And concerns about the bodily fluids that came out of these things.
Yeah, the corpses were not realistic, but I mean, they're memorable. Like, they stick out.
I mean, a lot of their reactions were pretty decent, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would have treated the girl's stab wound from the pencil instead of, just putting her in bed and calling it good. Because when he lifts up the blanket, there's nothing on her heel or ankle.
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't put pressure on the wound, didn't wrap it, nothing. Just, put her in bed, you're good, sleep it off.
Yeah.
This is fine. You've got this, Linda, or Shelley, whichever one it was.
It was Linda, his girlfriend.
You've got this, Linda. And, they just kind of left it at that. I mean, it makes it a bit more dynamic when he goes to look at it, and you see the darkness spreading through the veins, and then her opening her eyes as, like, demon, and then attacking him. But not very accurate. And if someone did that, then if she had gotten, like, a vein or artery right over there, because I feel like it's kind of near one in that area, she would have bled out and died, which would kind of explain why she turned demon. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe they just suck at first aid.
I wonder if in the Evil Dead 2, I've never seen. And so I wonder if they'll explain more of the lore and make it, kind of hone the plot.
I feel like I kept expecting him to lose his hand in this one. I think it might have actually been the second one that Ash loses his hand, and he attaches it to a chainsaw, or something like that. I kept expecting it like the entire movie, and it didn't happen. And I think I'm just like remembering pieces all throughout, back and forth on the movies.
Yeah,
it has been years since I've seen both. So, been a minute.
I do like how this one ends, though. How it's just the pan.
Yeah.
And I will say one thing, it should have been with the entertainment scale, but one thing that I was impressed with is, besides being like novice filmmakers, they knew how to play around with camera angles. Like the boyfriend looking out the window and you see the camera lean, and then and it was very mechanical, so it's not shaky and you don't get sick from it, but it does add tension to that scene.
It really does. That was actually one of the best scenes that built up a lot of anxiety and tension, was because as soon as they would slightly pan it with the way he was looking, the entire time I'm sitting there, it's going to be there, it's going to be there, it's going to be there. And then they turn the other way. And there's nothing there either time, but you're sitting there the whole time like, oh dear God, where is it? Here it comes.
But I will say, from this movie, I probably would want things to start off more subtle and then have the tension build and then kind of go all ham. But, I mean, this movie from the start has a very strong, this is going to be a bumpy ride type of thing. So, I don't hate it for being what it is. And I don't know if adhering to any of my criticisms of it would make it a better movie. I feel like it would probably take away from it. So it's there's things that I would probably want from the movie, but I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they should have done, because we do that so often.
Yeah.
But it's like in this case, it's just such a unique film. I'm not going to say it's the perfect film, because it's not. It's very flawed. But it just...
But it was good as is.
Yeah. So, but, well, I don't have anything. Well, I guess the last thing we can talk about is if we were in that situation, what we would do.
I mean, I already kind of spoke about what I would do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What would you do?
I would... Well, of course, I'm going from the movie perspective, but, if he was talking about this, if I was listening to the tapes and I heard him talking about this book and crazy stuff happening, and then crazy stuff started happening, I would probably put 2 and 2 together pretty fast and realize that it's the book I need to destroy. And I feel like they weren't overtly killing off the people that were possessed. They were killing them only as a need-to basis, and I would probably do the same. Just, kill them strictly on a survival basis, but not go crazy gory. But I know they said that they had to be dismembered but I would just try and make that process as quick as possible.
Quick and clinical, for sure. Though I feel like I would have trouble if it was my significant other. Even if they were already dead, I would find it extremely difficult to dismember them, even if I knew I had to for my own survival. So his reaction when he's looking at his girl, who they have established pretty well that you can tell he really cares about her. Mm-hmm. I feel like that reaction was pretty accurate. Stupid, but accurate.
Yeah.
And definitely understandable. Because there aren't many that would be like, all right, bye.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you.
I will say, this movie made me laugh in so many different ways. And, all of the eyes are open, then quickly close them. Towards the beginning when he's, trying to give her the necklace. And then at the end where she's a demon.
Yeah. I love that they brought that back. And I know it kind of perverted it and all because that was their thing. It was just the thing that they did. And it made it a lot darker when she became a demon. But it was a nice touch.
Yeah. But I don't really have anything else to say on this movie that would really add to the conversation at all.
No, it was a good movie, guys. If you haven't seen it already, what are you doing?
Do it.
Go watch it. It's a good movie. It's considered one of the original kind of scary movies. It's a cult classic for sure. But definitely go watch it. It's not quite as gory as the remake.
It's still, there's a few parts that it's just like, ugh, but the effects are also so bad that's not quite as,
It's more tolerable. It's from the 80s.
Yeah.
They weren't quite as high tech as they are now. So they can't get, quite as accurate detail or anything.
Yeah, so it's not quite as painful to watch the gory scenes, for sure.
Nowhere near Saw level. Nowhere near it. You're good. Go watch it. It was a good one. Thank you, V, for suggesting it. And
yes.
Please send another suggestion, guys. If you have another movie that you want us to watch and review, please let us know. If you have a suggestion for a book that you want us to read and review, let us know. We will have already aired the book review by the time this episode comes out. But we will be announcing the other one soon if we haven't already. So throw out a suggestion, guys.
And it can be a book that they've already made a movie, whether it be even Ringu or don't know, just whatever book, or a Stephen King book, who knows, just whatever.
Just know if they're super, super long, it might take longer for us to come out with a review.
Yeah. So keep it reasonably long, or reasonably...
We've got 9 to 5s, guys. Like, if it's like if it's a Lord of the Rings level book, it's going to take a month or two, or a couple months probably, for us to get through the entire thing to be able to review it.
Yeah.
So, but for now, stay safe and stay spooky, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.